Hello everyone. I looked at when I last uploaded a video and am kind of ashamed that it was right at the beginning of the year. Can't believe that we're in August and so much time has passed. Life's been busy and I took a big step back from like social media and using my phone. And if I'm honest, just haven't really been as super inspired about the whole planner thing this year as I normally am. It might be just that perhaps I've got too much going on in here. When I open it, I'm just kind of overwhelmed by everything to flip through and update. And because I use a fair amount of apps on my phone or things like Google Sheets for some things, whilst I've always found so much value and enjoyment in actually using like pen and paper, it is just easier to move some things online sometimes. But it's not to say I'm ever going to stop planning or like using my Filofax, because I was looking through some of my old folders the other day when I was trying to find something, and I've been using a Filofax in the Filofax form since I was about 16 and I started work. And before that, at school they gave us kind of like a weekly planner that was quite similar to the Filofax format in the diary format. And before that, my first ever Filofax was like one of those ones that you used to be able to get for kids, where it had like all these fun like little dividers in it and you could play different games, and it was like spelling practice and like all that kind of stuff. So it was like based around learning, but that was the first ever kind of planner format I had. And I guess just through my whole life, which is mad when I think about it now because I'm in my 30s, I've just always had this kind of planner or organizer in my life in some format. So it's not something I ever want to get rid of, especially like the diary section, because that is for me a way to make memories or to at least remember things that I've done throughout each year. Because sometimes I love, particularly at the end of the year when I'm swapping pages around, to be able to look back at like the other years and what I was doing in those years and the kind of things that I was up to and my goals and like who I was even spending my time with. Like that's changed so much over the years. But yeah, we'll see. I can't believe that I still have subscribers at this point, because I've been a really naughty YouTuber at this point. But thank you so much if you are still sticking around, and I promise you I'm going to really work hard on setting up a new kind of routine so that I can incorporate making videos a little bit more often. I'm not really sure what I'm aiming for yet. It would be nice to get to a point where I'm doing maybe 1 or 2 a week, but I think for now, whilst I get back into the habit of doing it, I'm going to have to think maybe every other week upload a new video, because that would be a good start for me. It's quite achievable, and then as I get into the swing of things I can slowly increase that. Because even though we're in August and I checked in with my goals in June, which I like to do around the halfway through the year mark, it's never too late to, you know, start your year afresh. Same as it's never too late in a day to have, you know, a productive day or get stuff done that you really want to do. Because sometimes, you know, I'm normally quite a productive and proactive person, and like I like to just get stuff off my to-do list in a day. But sometimes I'll have a lazy day, and that's fine because we all need rest days. But if I get to a point where it's like 5 or 6 o'clock where I'm actually feeling quite lethargic and uncomfortable and I don't really want to just not do anything that whole day, then even at 5 or 6 o'clock I'll be like, you know what, I'll give myself a couple of hours and I'll tidy up, I'll sort some life admin out, I'll go for a walk. So I know that, you know, it's never too late for a day or a week or a month or a year to make changes and start fresh and check in with what you want to be doing. So that mad rant aside, I'm going to do a little flip through of the planner this year so far. Everything's kind of set up much the same as it was in the last video at the beginning of the year, but I'll just show like what's working, what isn't, and then just flick through the diary pages. I really hope that the camera is not too wobbly. It is like, I wish I could show you guys. This is just ridiculous to set up. I've got it really precariously balanced and hopefully it's not moving around too much. If it is, sorry, it's just temporary for today because I've really hurt my back and I can't move my normal table into the other room to kind of set up this whole setup. So I'm just doing the best I can in my bedroom today. So to start with, As usual, here we've just got some like magnetic clips. We've got all my stickers that I use, although some of these are starting to get quite empty. And then we have some post-its. These are still really cute, I love these. I don't really use these very much, but I use these in like other planners that I've got and my notebooks and things when I'm doing my weekly plan. Although even with my weekly plan, like I've actually started to use Excel, and it's the first week I'm trying it out. So maybe it will stick, maybe it won't, but actually it's been really nice because I'm not just going through like reams of paper. And then I find as well that like when I'm doing my planning, I'm like, oh yeah, and then I'll add this onto a different page, and then I'll add this onto another page. And then I end up with like 4 or 5 different pieces of paper, whereas with an Excel spreadsheet, you can just have everything on the same page. You can zoom in and out, you can like manipulate all the table lines and stuff, and it's a little bit easier, but we'll see. So first of all, the calendar section. This is the one that I use. This is like the, well, it's like the yearly overview, this one. I can't remember, vertical year planner, there we go. So this is the vertical year planner. So for quite a few years, I've used this style to just follow my menstrual cycle. And I write down here the days of my cycle next to the days of the month, and then just kind of how I feel each day. Now, as you can see, this used to be a lot more detailed, and I'd like do different colours throughout the month and stuff to kind of show what season of my cycle I was in. But as you can see, it's just really petered out to the point where I'm using this to just literally track the cycle days. And I think this year I've just got out the habit of doing it on here, but part of that is because I have downloaded one of the tracking apps for your cycle, and I found that the last few months of doing it on an app, I tried it a few years ago, I really just didn't get on with it. I'm actually really preferring it now because I can just sit there on my sofa whilst I have my phone and just do it then, and then it obviously like gives you predictions, and although it's basically the same thing, like I can look back over the months and see how I felt at certain times of my cycle, like it does the same thing that I was doing on here. I'm just finding it, I don't know, just easier somehow, maybe mentally, to just have it on an app. So I think for now I'm just going to stick with the app, and you know, if it sticks for the rest of the year, probably I won't do this again next year. I'll just leave this. So the yearly one, this is like that yearly calendar. So, oh yeah, so I guess I haven't showed you guys like the whole year yet, because obviously I have been AWOL. And this is another one where, as much as I love this kind of snapshot overview of the months, if I'm honest, I'm literally just doubling up what's on here, because I use the Google Calendar and I love the Google Calendar. I've used it for years, and I basically have found that what I'm just doing is putting everything on Google Calendar at the end of the day on here anyway. So do I really need the paper versions? I know that I do love the Google Calendar. Unless they make huge changes that I don't like, I'm always going to use that. So I think that maybe next year this will be another thing that actually I just leave out of the planner, because as fun as it is as part of the whole decoration thing and just keeping a track on like my leave days and holiday days and stuff, really it's not making much difference to my overall day. I'm just, if anything, making things more hard for myself because I'm doubling up stuff. I did enjoy doing this originally, but I've come to realise that it's not really adding much, so probably next year this will be left as well. So then this section, I've kind of reduced this as well, but this is where I'm just keeping an eye on like the new films I've watched each year. I'm up to 44 new films this year, which actually, I feel like it's a lot. When you look at it on a page, like, wow, I've watched that many films this year, like, have I got nothing else to do? But then this is quite low count for me. I've not been watching as many films this year. I've been watching more TV series. It's super scruffy as well, so soz. Books that I've read, and I also have, what's the app called? The Goodreads app. So I don't know why I'm tracking this in here as well. Sometimes it's just nice to see these things on paper, I suppose. These are things that I actually don't mind doubling up on, because it's always nice to include these at the end of the year when I put all the diary pages out, to sort of staple all this together, because it kind of like is a nice sum up of the whole year. And obviously you don't get that on an app. That's the one thing I think with these apps, is that you can't collate all the data on all the apps into like a yearly review, you know, whereas that's the one bonus of using a planner, is that on paper you can just collect them all in the same year, and then that's like a nice memory collection to look back on in the future. TV series, favourites this year so far have been, oh my god, Poldark. Poldark is not normally my thing, and I just stuck it on one day because I love Aidan Turner, and oh my god, I was obsessed with Poldark for months. I actually even went to Cornwall for a week in spring to do like my own little Poldark tour. Whoops, the camera started moving there, sorry guys. Yeah, so I did it like a Poldark tour in Cornwall in the spring. Loved Bridgerton season 2. Oh, this is so scruffy, I know, sorry. I was really excited about Conversation with Friends. I was really underwhelmed with that one. And I've rewatched Sex and the City and Gilmore Girls, and I've blasted through the Good Girls series on Netflix. I absolutely have loved that one, and that's probably one that I'll just end up rewatching like in the background. And that's that for the trackers. Goals and personal tabs I'm just going to leave for now, because my goals are kind of all a bit over the place at the moment, and personals obviously like private details. I've got my self-care tab, which has just become a bit of a very tiny collection of kind of summaries of things that I've read and want to keep in mind going on, just like stuff for like boundaries and emotional needs and how I want to feel and kind of that stuff. It's not really something that I use often, it's just stuff where I keep certain information. So meh. And then I have the diary section, so I'll just do like a quick whiz through of this. And this year I switched from having a day per, was it a day per page? No wait, I think I had a week over 2 pages originally. I've always had that format, but I found that with the A5, because I previously had the personal size, it was all just a bit too big, and I was like struggling to sort of fill in all the different days, because basically it's just like a snapshot of my day. That's what I use my planner for. I don't actually plan with my planner. This is literally like at the end of the day I'll sit down and note down what I did during the day, because I like to look back on it in future years. So this isn't what I use for like, okay, what am I going to do today? It's more like a look back. So I'll just go through these pages quickly. Yeah, and I really have been liking the week per page format, because firstly it makes the diary section much smaller than normal. Normally around this time of year I would be struggling to even close the planner, whereas because it's like half the size, it's much easier to just keep in all the pages. And it works for me. Like obviously you can see it, particularly around sort of late winter and spring, I had a real problem with my mood, and that I wasn't really doing much each day. So I'm not just left with like loads of empty space. I can still write a few things down, but not like just leaving loads of unused space, which is kind of a waste otherwise. So this video is going to be quite short today, because I'm just going to do like a quick overview of the planner for now, and then I'm going to make a list of all the extra videos that I want to start doing. Oh yeah, so around May I started to feel a bit better, and I started to get out and about a bit more. Had an amazing holiday. I went to Fuerteventura with my friend, and I've also got Ibiza coming up, and I've wanted to go to Ibiza like my whole life. I'm so excited to finally get the chance to go to Ibiza, so that's very exciting. Oh yes, I worked at Wimbledon as well, the tennis championships, and that was really fun. Went to the Libertines. It's been a good summer so far. And yeah, actually the last month or so has been very busy. Lots of dinners with friends, being out and about, getting back to like focusing on my goals and stuff, because they've sort of taken a bit of a back seat this year because work's been a bit difficult. Yeah, that's it so far. And then we've got the next few months here. So yeah, so from like 1st of September to December, there's like, it looks like there's hardly any pages, at least for what I was used to when I had a week per 2 pages. It's definitely like half the size, which is really good if you're someone that like struggles to close your planner halfway through the year. And it also means that, because previously I'd have to, as I went through the year, just like take the pages out and store them, whereas now I can look back on like the whole year at a time. So that's how it is for now, and next year I'm definitely still going to keep up with like this whole section, because this is something I've done for years and years. It's this diary section. Probably don't even need the A5 size. I could go back to my Finchley and personal size, but I really do love this planner. Malden, isn't it? And I just love the way it feels. So I'll keep the planner and I'll keep the diary section, and probably some of these dividers. They're really helpful, especially the personal section, because this is where I keep all the information, like, you know, internet banking and mortgage stuff, like, you know, all the passwords and stuff that like you don't really want to keep on your phone in case your phone gets stolen and you're definitely going to forget, because 3 years down the line when you have to log on you can't remember anything. Well, that's kind of what I use that for. And what else? Oh yeah, and things like my passport number and just stuff like that. So like if I'm booking something online, I can just grab my planner and I've got all the information there. Yeah, I can't remember if I said this on my last video at the end of last year, but basically this year with my goals, I didn't set, for the first time in a very long time, actual specific goals, because last year was so busy. I did so many things and reached so many goals, which is really great, but I was also so tired at the end of last year, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to leave making goals for the time being. And then as I go through the year, you know, I can add to this section. And although I still haven't actually added anything on paper, like I was saying at the beginning, although it's August, I'm now actually going to create an Excel spreadsheet where I can sort of start thinking about some things that I would now like to do by the end of the year, particularly like with the YouTube channel, and also some personal goals, like some financial goals and some things I want to do for work and just kind of all that good stuff. So that's the planner. And also, like, my one guilty pleasure, or as Charlotte from Sex and the City would say, my secret single behaviour, is I love watching pack with me videos on YouTube, or like day in my life videos on YouTube. And I would really like to do some of those, especially because this year, with travelling a little bit more, I've got myself some new suitcases, some new bags, some new backpacks, and I thought it would be really fun, especially when I go to Ibiza, to do like a pack with me and to see if my new bags and my suitcases are up to the journey, and also maybe some day in the life videos, because I just find them inspiring. I've also got my Finchley here. The Finchley used to be like my daily planner, and last year when I made the switch to the Malden, I made this into kind of a home planner where I made like little task lists for cleaning throughout the week, and also there's like kind of a food menu thing. I did a video on this somewhere at some point, and honestly it's just, this is another thing where like actually meal planning, grocery lists, all that stuff is just stuff I keep on my notes on my phone, and this just didn't end up getting used. So for now I've just had to retire the Finchley. Maybe one day I'll find something to do with this, I'm not sure. I'm never going to get rid of it because I'm so emotionally attached to it. But even though I used this for I think about 10 years, it's still actually in good condition, minus this one thread. So yeah, although like the leather's got a little bit worn away, particularly on the handle, for the most part it is in really good condition. So yeah, I'm always going to keep this, just not really sure what to do with it, and probably I'm not utilising my Malden as much anymore, which kind of makes me sad. But then I also acknowledge that sometimes I just find that this whole thing a little bit overwhelming some days, especially on the days where like I am quite quite low with my mood, and I just want it to be something that's fun, you know, like I like to spend once a week sitting down, decorating my pages and going through my tracker list and having a look at my goals and things. So there are definitely some aspects of this planner that I'm going to keep, but I think probably over the next few months how I use it is going to change a little bit. So there will still be videos around the planners and the other journals and things that I've got, but I guess there'll just be less emphasis on it, and I'll see how the apps fit in, because maybe particularly with the cycle one, if it gets to a point where like the free version isn't available anymore, then I will go back to the paper version. So yeah, that's it for today. If you're going to continue being a subscriber, then please know I value you so much. This is a very tiny channel, it's still a baby channel, still finding my feet even though it's a couple of years later, and I really appreciate you being here. And if you're new, then hopefully I'll see you around. But yeah, let me know what you think, any suggestions as well on how to balance, you know, having a paper planner and having some things on apps, like what do you like to have on apps and what do you like to use as a planner, because sharing is caring and I'd love to hear it. So thanks for checking in, hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Mwah.